If you're like me, anytime I start a new job, I always want to impress my new manager and coworkers. But there are 10 huge mistakes that I tend to make because I'm trying to impress them. And I'm pretty sure you probably do them too. In this video, I want to walk you through some strategies on how to overcome them so you can be a great fit for the team. Mistake number one, not spending enough time up front to understand how the current team works. You're probably like me. The moment I join a team, I'm super excited for the opportunity that I actually want to rush and show how good I am. But I always forget that the team that I'm joining is already working together. They've been together for a while. And so best way to avoid this is one, meet with your manager and ask for the team structure as well as the project structure, because you want to make sure that you are clear on who is responsible for what and how the project has been organized. And number two, you want to get a list of all the people who inform the project or influence the project. So it could be people on your team, but it could also be people from other departments that need to be consulted or need to be informed, or who are also decision makers in one or another. Number three, schedule one-to-one meetings with the individuals and be prepared to ask them questions. So you should have jotted down a number of questions, specific to the projects as you understand it, and go in and really have a listening ear, but obviously, have some high level questions so that they can be able to provide you some relevant information that you're looking for. Mistake number two, not asking for a demo of the product that you're going to be working on. So many times you see people that go into a project and they just jump in right in and they want to do things without really understanding what the product is all about. So a way to work around this is connect with the product owner, person who's responsible for that product, and request for a demo session. It could be one session, or it could also be spread across multiple sessions, depending on how deep or broad the product is. And so you want to ensure that you can have those sessions, have the product owner share their screens and walk you through a typical happy path journey, so that you can see how a typical journey would look like, and you'll be able to see some of the features and functionality that they've implemented. And then over time, you'll also get to understand the non-happy paths. But it's important for you to have that as your baseline before you jump into the work. Mistake number three, providing suggestions and feedback on how to change things on your first day of work. So again, you want to ensure that you're focusing on listening and nodding to acknowledge how things are actually working, but also take notes, because you may have some ideas here and there, but take notes and collect your thoughts and ideas, and you can share them later. On your first day, that's not the time to start suggesting things to be done differently, because you want to slowly, warm up to the team, and you want to give them that chance for them to get used to you, learn more about you, understand your working style and everything. And then there'll be time for you to share your suggestions, and which I'm sure will be great value for them, but not on day one. Mistake number four, trying to copy paste everything from your previous job. So obviously, for many of us, we've worked somewhere before. This is not our first job. Either it was an internship or a freelance job, or maybe an actual employment you had with another company. So there are things that you learned and acquired and became so good at. And so when you're moving into this new role at a new company, you may feel triggered to go and apply all those things because they're so good and you're not seeing anybody doing them here. I would caution you to maybe take a step back and instead first spend time to understand how things work in your current job. So this will be your new way of working, because it's a new team. They have their own frameworks that they follow, as well as methodologies that they align to, and as a team and as the manager and many other people that collaborate with them have agreed to follow. So you want to ensure that you understand those new ways of working first, and then you can then start to come up with some proposals, maybe from your previous work, but you want to pick and choose the ones that align with the way things work in the new company. And that's an easier way for you to ease your way in and provide value, very early from when you join, instead of trying to go and really jam pack them with all these great and amazing stuff from your previous experiences that may or may not necessarily be useful for them, and or that may come across as you not really being keen to be part of the team, but rather just trying to show that you know all these different things. Mistake number 5, not requesting access to the product artifacts. So when you join a team, they will likely have a lot of documentation on the product they're going to be working on, unless if it's a new product that's being created from scratch. But more than likely, the product you'll be working on will be already in existence. There'll have been many teams that have worked on it before you, and so there will definitely be some documentation. What you want to do is you want to request access. So first, you have to create a checklist of all the systems that are being called out as you have those conversations with your coworkers, with your managers, or the other stakeholders. Once you have that checklist, share it with your manager so that they can confirm that that is comprehensive and those are the relevant sources that you want to rely on. From there, proactively start to request access to these artifacts, and because they would be stored in different platforms. Some companies use Jira to house their backlogs, others use platforms like the Wiki Confluence. There are others who are collaborating in many other using other tools depending on which artifact we're talking about. So you want to ensure that you're requesting those accesses, and that way you'll set yourself up for success. Mistake number 6, not reviewing the product artifact. So it's important that you spend time up front to actually read the documentation that's available, because that will allow you to have context, and context matters because it will help you drive your conversations with the stakeholders and everybody else involved in the project. So what you want to do is you want to connect with the product owner and ask for suggestion on which artifacts are most important, and you start with those. Second, you want to block off 1 hour each morning for reviewing this documentation. It may sound a lot, but it will actually give you a head start that will be very useful down the road. Third, jot down questions as you start to review the documentation, and that can be addressed in your follow-up meetings with the stakeholders or your coworkers. Mistake number 7 is not providing frequent updates to your reporting manager. So as you are onboarding, it's important that you keep a close connection with your manager so that they can give you the tools necessary for you to settle and be prepared to start taking on some responsibilities and leading some of the work. So what you want to do is you want to schedule regular check-ins, maybe once a week. Make sure that you're connecting with your manager at least once a week for 30 minutes. So block off 30 minutes on his calendar, and then come prepared to give them a summary of the progress to date. So the meetings you've attended, the people you've spoken to, and what you've heard so far in terms of the product. And you can also include some of the pain points that you've heard from the different people that you've met, as well as from the documentation that you've reviewed. And then next, you want to highlight your next steps. So you want to give your manager an indication of what you're planning to do in the coming week. That way they can help you they can guide you and tell you how to sequence your tasks, or even suggest some additional people that you may want to connect with. And then above all that, do indicate any places that you would need their support. So do you want them to do a special introduction to the head of the delivery team? Would you like your manager to take you to a go and see session so that it can introduce you to the engineering team or the actual business users. So things like those, you want to suggest, areas where your manager can be of help to you, because that will show that you are being proactive, you can take initiatives, and you are able to manage your time wisely, and you know when to bring in your manager to support you so that you can be most effective. Mistake number 8 is not providing value within your first week of joining the team. This usually happens because maybe you're nervous and you're trying to figure out so many different things at the same time, and that's understandable. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that the team is also assessing you. They're also trying to see, like, are you the right fit for the team? Are you actually going to come and, pick up some work and, give them some room to breathe so that they can really focus on the critical things? And so you want to really be proactive here and show that you can be able to come in and be part of the team and collaborate and help them to move the things forward. So some of the things you could do that that are actually low-hanging fruit, very straightforward, that are not complicated, is offer to update the wiki pages for the product. So sometimes there is new information that's coming from so many meetings in a given day or even in 1 week that there is not enough time for the team to go back and update their documentation. So since you've been attending those discussions in that week or 2 weeks, do propose that you will take on that task of updating the wiki pages, and that will go along. The other thing is propose to be the one to provide the progress update to the stakeholders, because there are many people who are keen to know the progress, not just the people who are on your team, but people who could be in other departments that are also going to be consuming or using that product once it's ready. So you want to provide some type of communication on how things are going, some of the constraints that the team may have had to deal with. And that way you can show that the team is moving forward, and at the same time you're helping your team to address this one deliverable that is critical but may not be as urgent in their mind. So you take on some of those low-hanging. Mistake number 9, not asking for feedback. So even though you're new to the team, you do want to ensure that you keep the channels open in terms of getting feedback, but also even for you sharing feedback, because that helps you fitting into the team and really learning and seeing where you can apply your strengths and so forth, and where you probably need to improve. And so one of the things that I like to do is when I have meetings with my manager or any other team members, I want to ask them, what's going well and what do you want to change and what do you think I should stop? And by giving them just those 3 questions, it helps them to really give me targeted feedback, and I don't take it personally. I know it's work, and I also try to find ways that I can then appreciate that feedback, and then I find actionable ways that I can apply that feedback. And that usually opens up a level of communication and trust within the team, with your manager, with your team members, that will go a long way as you go down your career. Mistake number 10, not setting expectations on the working culture. And this is something that you may be nervous to ask because you don't want to look like you're trying to find an easy way out so that you can work the least hours in a day and so forth. But it's really important that you set those expectations up front, because then that helps everybody to know how things go. So even before you share how your work preference looks like, it would actually be best for you to go to your coworkers and to your managers and really ask them, like, so how do you guys usually work? What's your work arrangement like? What is your starting time? When do you usually end? Is it 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Is it Monday through Wednesday? Do you work mostly remotely? Do you go to the office? How many times in the week are you going into the office? If I need to communicate with you, what is the best way to communicate with you? What's your preferred way? Is it through chat? Do you prefer me to email you, or do you prefer me to schedule a call so that we can have like a face-to-face discussion, even if it's over Zoom? So those things, while they seem small, they're very important, and that will show that you're very detailed oriented because you're taking note of everybody's working style and you try to adjust your working style to make sure that you can accommodate how everybody else is working as a way of you being assimilating into the team. So definitely ask that up front because that will alleviate some miscommunication, some misunderstandings down the road. Now that you know how to navigate your first 2 weeks in your new job, you might be wondering, what can I do to stand out on my new team? If that's the case, watch this video next where I walk you through how to set up your workstation remotely and also prep for your first online team meeting. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in this video next.